Hello again. This video will cover the basics of adding and subtracting of polynomials. First thing we'll look at is what is a monomial. It's a number, a variable, or the product of a number and one or more variables with whole number exponents. Whole numbers, that means you cannot have a negative exponent. The degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variable in the monomial. And degree is just another way of talking about how difficult the problem is to work with. So an example here could be 4a squared b to the, let's call it fourth power. That would be a monomial. It's two variables and one coefficient. But the degree would be the 4 plus 2, the exponents on the variables added up, which gives you 6. So that would have a degree of 6. The next thing would be a polynomial, which is nothing more than a monomial or a sum of monomials. Now the word sum implies that it's an addition, but it could be a subtraction as well. Each monomial is called a term of the polynomial. So the word term is synonymous with a monomial. A polynomial cannot contain variables in the denominator, and the variables cannot be exponents. The degree of a polynomial is the greatest degree of its terms. I'll give you an example here. Well, right here we have a degree of 5. Right here we have a degree of 4. Right here we have a degree of 1 plus 1, which is 2, and constant values have a degree of 0. So this polynomial has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms in it, but its highest degree is 5. So the entire polynomial has a degree of 5. One of the things we like to do is put our polynomials in order of their exponents from highest to lowest, or largest to smallest, from left to right. When we do that, we get a number out in front called our leading coefficient. If that was written as just x cubed, then our leading coefficient would be a 1. So in this case, our leading coefficient is 2. The number at the end is called a constant term that has no variables on it. This has a degree of 3, a degree of 2. There is a 1 there, so a degree of 1. But the degree of the polynomial itself is the one with the largest degree, the monomial that has the largest degree, which is 3. So this has a degree of 3 for the entire polynomial, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Example 1. We want to write this expression so the exponents decrease from left to right, and we want to identify the degree and the leading coefficient. Well, this one right here appears to have the most exponents, so I'm going to write that first. Be sure to include the negative sign, negative 3a squared x to the third. The next one would be the 12x. That's a positive 12x, so I'm going to combine that or attach it with a plus sign, so plus 12x. And this last one is a positive 5, so I'm going to attach that with a positive 5. So my leading coefficient is the negative 3, not just the 3. And I have a degree right here of 5, a degree here of 1, and a degree here of 0. So the degree of the polynomial is the one with monomial that has the highest degree, which is 5. So this is a 5th degree polynomial. A polynomial with 2 terms is called a binomial, while a polynomial that has 3 terms is called a trinomial, and we will use those words quite often. When we're adding and subtracting polynomials, we will add and subtract like terms using one of 2 formats, vertical or horizontal format, and we'll show you both formats. Example 2a, this would be the horizontal format. What we're going to do is look through, find the highest degrees, which we have a cube here and a cube here. So I'm going to group those together as 5x cubed. That's a plus 3x cubed. Plus, my next highest degree here would be a 4x squared, and it's the only one I have, so I'm just going to write that by itself. Plus, my x to the first is next, so x to the first would be 4x to the first minus 2x to the first. And the only thing I have over here is a constant value of negative 6. Now combine our like terms. When we combine our like terms, we're only doing the calculations on the coefficients. So 5x cubed plus 3x cubed makes 8x cubed. I have nothing to combine here, so bring down my plus 4x squared. Combine these first. 4x minus 2x leaves you with positive 2x, so I'm going to combine that with a plus 2x. And I just have a minus 6 trailing. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, and my highest degree is 3, so this is a third degree polynomial. Here we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to do this horizontally. So this is example 2b. I'm going to start with the top one. My biggest degree is 5x cubed. And I look through and see, well, I don't have any x squared. That would make my next one down. So I'm going to leave a space here, a blank. And I'm going to combine my x's to the first power and bring that down next. That's a 4x minus 2x, which is a positive 2x. And I don't have any constant terms, so I'm going to leave that one blank also. So normally we'd have a power 3 here, power 2, power 1, and then a degree of 0, which is my constant terms, but there's nothing there. Then I come over here and I take my next cube, which is 3x cubed, and I line it up right underneath, 3x cubed. I do have a plus 4x squared, but there's nothing to add it to above, so it just comes straight down. I don't have any x's to the first, so I can just leave a blank there. But I do have a minus 6, so I put a minus 6 here. I'll just draw a line, and we're just going to add those together. I'm going to start on the right-hand side, so this is basically a 0 minus 6 is a negative 6. This is a 2x plus 0, which is a positive 2x, and I put a plus sign out in front. And this is a 0 plus 4x squared, which is just a positive 4x squared. Put my positive out in front. And a 5x cubed plus 3x squared. 3x cubed makes 8x cubed. And you'll see we have the same 4 terms that we had on the previous problem. Example 3a, this particular example has a subtraction of polynomials. Now this should say subtract or minus. Subtract here. Now this is a little more complicated. You'll see that we have this minus sign right here. So what we have to do is treat that as a negative 1 that needs to be distributed to all 3 terms before we do anything with it. So I'm going to bring down my 4x squared minus 7. Then I'm going to distribute negative 1 times the negative 5. Negative 1 times the negative 5 gives you a negative 5x squared. Negative 1 times the positive 4x gives you a negative 4 minus 4x. And then negative 1 times the negative 9 gives you a positive 9. Now to continue doing this horizontally, I'm just going to combine my like terms. I have a 4x squared, and that's a minus 5x squared. Look for regular x's. Well, I have a regular x right here, which is just minus 4x. And then I have a plus, I got a negative 7 and a positive 9. And now continue to combine your like terms. So 4x squared minus 5x squared leaves you with a negative 1x squared. And you don't have to put the 1 there, but you do have to put the negative sign. Bring down my minus 4x. And then when I combine these together here, I get a negative 7 plus 9, which is a positive 2. So I'm going to leave this plus 2. If that had come out to a negative 2, I could call that a minus 2 instead. So when I add these two together, I now end up with a trinomial that has a leading coefficient of negative 1 and a highest degree of 2. Example 3b, again that should say subtract. Now we still have to do the same thing. We have to distribute that negative first. But what I'm going to do is take what's inside here, and I'm going to set up my vertical template. So 4x squared. I don't have an x to the first, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then I'm going to put my minus 7. Then I'm going to distribute my negative here. So negative, it's actually a negative 1. Negative 1 times 5x squared gives me a negative 5x squared. And I'll just line it up vertically underneath like terms. Then a negative 1 times 4x is a negative 4x, so minus 4x to the first. Remember, I have no x to the first up here, so I'm just leaving that blank. and then a negative 1 times negative 9 will give us a positive 9. And all you got to do is draw a line, and just so we don't get confused here, I'm just going to put parentheses around it and put a plus sign on the outside. So all I'm going to do now is add those terms together. So 4x squared plus a negative 5x squared gives you a negative 1x squared. This is really a 0x, if I want to put it in there. 0x plus a negative 4x gives you a negative 4x. And a negative 7 plus positive 9 leaves you with a positive 2.